Hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So today's reading is your monthly prediction reading, all about what's going to be happening for you in October, favourite month of the year, spooky season. So let's get straight into it. Today we have 3 piles for you to choose from. We have pile 1, 2 and 3, and you can pick your pile based on the energy or vibe of the pile. The one that you're feeling most intuitively drawn to, basically. You can also pick your pile based on the number, or based on the numbers in the timestamps in the description box below, or based on the zodiac signs in the timestamps in the description box below. You can also pick your pile with crystals, which I'll get into with you now. So for pile 1 we have some red labradorite. For pile 2 we have some snow agate. And for pile 3 we have some snakeskin agate. Once you have picked your pile, there will be a timestamp in the description box below for you to find your reading more easily, and I will meet you there. Bye. Okay, hello my pile 1s. So you chose the Astronomer with Discovery and Augury as your oracle card. For your tarot cards we have the Fool, which is so interesting because the Fool is of course going on a journey where they'll of course discover things. So this is very aligned for you today. We also have the Hierophant. We have the Star with the Astronomer. Okay. We have the 4 of Cups. And we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay, so in October, there's definitely a massive mystical energy around you. You're gonna be doing things that is going to help you accomplish a big goal of yours, and you might even accomplish it this month, but it's a big dream of yours that you really want to come true. It's something you've kind of been wishing on, asking spirit for help with, or kind of seeking assistance with in your spiritual practice, or maybe just, you know, in tarot readings. Something you're hoping to see every time you kind of have a tarot reading, or kind of talk to the universe in your solitude, or just have a thought about what it is you want. That thing is happening this month. It's either coming true, or you're doing things this month that are helping you get there faster, get there quicker. I am just feeling like it's probably happening this month though, because there's a massive like spiritual energy with your pile. We've got the Star, the Astronomer, the Hierophant, and I feel like in the Star here she's holding this bottle, which is like full of like star energy. So she has reached for the star that she wants, and she's got it. Not only that, but over here in the Fool we can see this person is like holding a flower in their hand, and all these petals are kind of exploding away from the flower. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen Practical Magic, although you probably have if you are into tarot reading and witchy things. You've probably seen it. But there's a scene in it where when she's younger she makes a wish by pulling all these like leaves and petals off of flowers and puts them into a bowl and wishes to the universe for like her ideal guy, because there's no way that he could exist. So her wishing protects her from heartache technically. And that's what this card, this particular illustration reminds me of, because she's standing on the edge, wind billowing the hair, flower releasing all these petals. It looks exactly like that scene to me. And here in the Star, it's almost like all of these stars that she's kind of wishing upon and looking up to have trickled down and collected in this cup. It's like, here's your wish releasing into the universe, and here's it coming back to you. And with the Astronomer, it's like you're reaching those stars. You have the expertise this month to get the things that you're wishing on, to make those things happen, to manifest them. This is like the prime time to take action and seize opportunities, but take action towards the things you want this month, because it's going to come true for you. Like, this is a very magical, promising month. So if there's something you want, trust you're divinely protected and go after it. I also see this month you might do a lot of like astral projection in your dreams and when you go to sleep. Like, that's just a secondary thing that I was getting here with the particular crystal you picked, with the Astronomer. I'm just seeing, and the Hierophant, that might be the case for you this month. Maybe there will be important messages for you in your dreams as well, but I can see you're not settling for less than what you want. You're going after things, even if on the surface it looks like you have everything you need and you don't really need anything else. You've still got that desire for more, so why shouldn't you go after it? And that's kind of the energy for you this month. Behind your action is this cloud of success, or sun of success really. So it's up to you how you kind of use that, how you wield your wand this month. If you use your wand towards what it is you want, those things will come true because there's success standing right behind you. But if you choose not to act on the things you want this month, then of course, if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't act, you don't get. So you're really being urged to take action towards what it is you're interested in this month, to make your dreams come true, because you've got really big dreams that are definitely manifesting for you right now. In October, they're coming in. On top of that, I see you being very, I suppose, fulfilled for the month of October, like very satisfied with your life, you're enjoying it, you're living in the moment, being present, being authentic. We've got the Archer here, biding your time and planning ahead. And then we also have Thief in reverse, seizing the moment, selfishness. So I think, like, especially with the Archer there, it's like you're taking action, narrowing in on what it is specifically you want, or specifically what you need to do in order to make your dreams come true, and going after it. But you're not doing it in like a sly way, or a way that would kind of make you not worthy to receive these dreams. You're being very responsible and genuine and authentic in your pursuit of your dreams. We also have the Seven of Wands here with the King of Swords in reverse. I definitely feel like this is just a month of really big wishes coming true for you. It could be, I'm feeling like these are very unique wishes, quite personal to you. However, there could be a wish that you have around stability in any arena of your life. Could be financial, it could just be general stability, but there's a wish around stability that you have that's really coming in strongly this month as well. So we have Temperance. This is kind of telling me that while you, of course, have to take action towards the things you want, or else you kind of won't really get them, you know, there's a 50-50 here where it's like you do half of it, but the universe is going to take care of the other half, so don't worry too much about that. Yeah, definitely stability, I think, for sure. I'm just feeling that strongly is coming in for you this month. So we have the Five of Wands, and we also have the Queen of Pentacles, both in reverse. And then we also had the Founder and the Sleeper in reverse. So clarity, cause and effect, and foundations and community. There is something coming in about your community here. It's almost like giving back this month will help you receive. So when we have Thief here, it's not like you taking and being underhand and sly. It's you making sure you earn what it is you get in return, if that makes sense. So I can see you giving to your community, because with the Thief, a keyword associated with this card was selfishness, but it's in reverse. So immediately I thought selflessness, and you being quite generous. And then we've got community, the Founder, foundations, and your stability is strong. So your stability is strong because you're investing in your foundations by being an integral part of the community, especially with the Hierophant. So I can see you being quite supportive of others this month, quite generous, as well as quite social. You might be doing a lot and going out a lot. I can see you out a lot at night this month, where maybe the day just kind of gets away from you because you're doing so much, and then you end up realizing it's like 11 p.m. and you're not home yet. I can see that. But again, there's a strong sense of your dreams are going to be really significant this month, so pay attention to them. But also you might be really quite powerful as a astral projector or a lucid dreamer. I think that might be one of your like talents, like your powers, your spiritual gifts. Especially for people who are drawn to tarot and things like that. We've all got a little something that we're good at, you know, and I think that might be one of yours. And that might actually be an avenue that helps enlighten you to how you can reach your dreams. It helps guide the way for you and show you a more clear or direct path. I don't think reaching your dreams is something that you can necessarily plan out on paper and go, this is how I do it. Maybe your dreams are a bit too obscure for that. So I think you kind of need something that is unclear, like a dream, to clarify things, if that makes sense. It's almost like the confusion of a dream matches your confusion in real life, and your dreams will help to show you the way better. Okay, so I'm gonna ask about your career, your love life, things like that, because I used to do this, but I haven't done it in a while, so I've decided to give that a go this month. So I just asked about your career and I got just this. So for October, there might be something that's out of sync. It could be maybe you're not vibing with your job, or an incident that occurred, but whatever it is, it's going to kind of be sorted out and you'll feel a lot better about it, and then you'll feel like you do enjoy work and you do like going there, and this incident was just a misunderstanding. Whatever it is, there's something that might be causing you a bit of stress there, but it's going to get sorted out this month and fixed. And it's not anything you have to do, it's kind of like it will just unfold naturally itself, because I don't think it will be a case of malicious intent. I think it's just misunderstanding going on. There's some sort of misunderstanding at work that's caused you stress, that's going to be clarified, that then makes you feel better and rebalances that scale. Ooh, for love we've got the King of Cups in reverse. Someone definitely could be coming into your life if you're single. And this could be somebody who is quite whirlwindy, just because the King of Cups is in reverse. So usually if this is like a emotionally stable, strong, mature kind of person and very laid back, this might be more of an intense person because it's in reverse, who maybe isn't that mature and isn't that laid back, is quite like hands-on. But for those of you who are in a relationship, it could also just be that you're kind of reaching like a really nice peak in your relationship. You're enjoying where it's going this month. It feels very passionate, very full of love, and very exciting as well. And I've just asked about any hobbies you have, or any side hustles, or, you know, just anything you kind of spend your time doing outside of work, outside of relationships, hanging out with friends, community, things like that. So this is more about that. And I think what you're doing right now is definitely leading to a strong foundation for the future. So whatever you're doing is working, so keep doing it. It's kind of laying a good foundation for you to gain in the future from these avenues. So for example, if you're trying to learn like how to draw, and at the minute you're not seeing that you're very good at it, but actually if you paused and looked back on the future looked back on the past, you would see how much you've grown, how far you've come, how much neater the lines are, how you've kind of started to get your own sense of style. And so it's like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you will get to a point where you can just draw these amazing, beautiful drawings, you know. So keep doing whatever it is you're doing. Ooh, and your friends and your family are going to be celebrating you this month. So I've asked more about your kind of platonic relationships, and I think that you're going to do things that make them proud of you, and they're going to recognize you for your efforts towards your community, all the support you've given this month, all the ways you've kind of been selfless and very giving, and they're going to be celebrating you for it. So that is what I see for you, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my pile 2s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the Snow Agate and the and the Musician with Inspiration and Gratitude. Love that. So I think already this is going to be a great month for you because you're feeling grateful for it. So we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Three of Pentacles in reverse as well. Ooh, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Nice. Okay. The Queen of Wands. And the Page of Wands. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So a few different things. So I think you're going to really enjoy October because you may be someone who is quite like hardworking, you kind of throw yourself into things, you're very dedicated, but you've kind of done enough this year to where you've kind of allowed space in your life for a pause, and this month is that pause. So instead of you know, working really hard, throwing yourself into things, into projects, into lots of, you know, things that you've got going on. You might actually be taking a holiday, maybe a break from work. It could just be a pause from, even if you're not going on holiday, it could just be a pause from, let's say your work projects are quite intense. It can be a pause from the intensity to where it's actually so much more easy, free-flowing, enjoyable. And you don't really need to start anything new. You don't have to kind of think of ways to kind of draw in money this month, or try to prove yourself at work or anything. I think you've made a great impression, so you don't have to continue working towards that front. And I think you've also built up enough kind of support and security for yourself to where you can now look at everything you've created with admiration, with pride, and take a break and take a pause and kind of go off the off the kind of serious and like hardworking road to this more independent, free spirit, wild road where you're enjoying life with the musician. You're enjoying all the luxuries and the creativity that life has to offer. You might be indulging in your creative side, so that can be things like listening to or creating music, creating artwork, so drawings, paintings, things like that, maybe writing books. Whatever your kind of creative thing is, could be scrapbooking, but you're definitely applying yourself more to that creative side, indulging in those fun areas of life and kind of anchoring yourself to that. This month, you're anchoring yourself to fun and freedom. You're not, you know, sticking to kind of tradition this month or sticking to seriousness. You're allowing yourself the space to kind of set that aside so that you can focus on yourself this month. Sorry guys, Kit just tried to come over here and I've had to block her because we've got a candle over here, but if the candle wasn't here, she would have been in your reading, so apologies that you've missed out on a Kitonio visit. But she's currently at the window watching everyone below, so she's having fun. So yeah, I can see you being fun, being a little bit more childish this month, allowing that side of you to come out, because I think we've all got our true versions of ourselves somewhere deep down below the 9 to 5, below our responsibilities, our obligations, the things that have built up in our life that kind of pull us further away from that version of ourselves. And I think that version of you is being allowed to be set free this month. You're letting her out, you know, you're letting the kind of free spirit within you to be released, and you're indulging in nostalgia, in things you used to enjoy, in creativity, and yeah, just being yourself. And I think as well, you might be a social person or you might not, but the vibe I'm getting is that while you don't mind being in social situations, you do really value alone time. And I can see you being more independent this month and getting to have that time to yourself, which I think you're really looking forward to. If there are like obligations where you need to be social in life, those are kind of lessening this month and you get to kind of be alone. I also think this is going to be kind of a spiritual month for you, especially with the Cat and the Queen of Wands. I think you're going to be definitely indulging in spooky season. You know, having fun with that however you like to. Could be watching your favourite spooky movies or getting ready for trick-or-treaters. Actually, we don't even really do that much in the UK anymore. We used to when I was younger. It was a way bigger thing, but you could be doing that. But I definitely see you having more fun there. Okay, just some more info before we get into the next bit. So we have the Champion, Achievement and Downfall. Ooh, we have the Muse, Generosity and Naivety in reverse, which is so interesting because we have the Musician and then we have the Muse. It's like a perfect pairing there. Maybe one of the creative pursuits you're indulging in this month are really well suited to you, and you're really good at it. And maybe, yeah, that sparks your enjoyment again. What I'm seeing is like perfect pairings or polar opposites that perfectly match. You might be finding something that fits you this month. It could be a true calling that you're discovering. It could even be a partnership or a connection with somebody. But there seems to be something that you're finding this month that works really well together. Yeah, we've got the Fool. There's something brand new starting for you this month. It's almost like a bit of an awakening or a true path, a true calling coming to you, or maybe a new connection with somebody, a new relationship. That's something I'm seeing, especially, oh my gosh, I just realised again, we keep getting the Fool card in all the readings that I'm doing lately with this deck. But with the Fool card, I keep telling everybody, well, I keep telling all of you guys, that this particular illustration on the Fool card really reminds me of that scene in Practical Magic where she's making a wish for her perfect dream person because she knows he doesn't exist, and so she'll never die of a broken heart. And she pulls all these petals and leaves and puts them into a bowl and releases them on the balcony, and they float off into the moon. And here she's like holding this flower and it's releasing all of its petals, and the way she's just balanced on the cliff, the sort of wind in her hair, it just really reminds me of that scene. So it definitely could be a relationship thing, because when I think of the musician and the muse, I automatically think like relationships. Most songs are like quite romantic or based on love or experiences of romantic love. So there's definitely something coming in about that this month. I also think as well, it's interesting this card had naivety in reverse, because I was hovering over these cards trying to find the right word, because I wanted to kind of mention you're indulging in nostalgia and kind of like a childlike youthfulness, a childlike wonder or enjoyment, like a free spirit that's unaffected by societal pressures or obligations. So like, for example, it would be considered weird if you, I don't know, walked around in the street dancing and singing, but maybe you choose to do that this month, and that's your kind of, you letting that childish side out. But one of the words I was stuck on was naivety, and it was stuck on my mind, but I didn't quite want to use that word because it didn't feel right. And then we've got naivety here in reverse. So I feel like that's interesting. It's almost like no matter how you come across this month, if maybe there are people who kind of think you are quite naive, you're definitely not, and you're very intelligent and aware, and you're not gullible. Like, you're not going to fall for any foul play this month. Yes, we have the Tower. That could be why then. There's some sort of chaotic energy coming in for you this month. Although with this Tower card, actually, I don't think I've ever gotten this Tower card. I might have. Even though the Tower definitely is damaged in places, I'm not seeing a lightning strike. I'm seeing, like, of course, a little like, oh wait, the lightning's up here, but I'm seeing like an explosion, but because it's like pink and like cotton candy-ish, it doesn't feel like a big deal. Do you know what I mean? So it feels like, even if it is quite big and catastrophic, it's not in a damaging way, or it's not in a way where this is a chaos you wouldn't accept. It feels like a good chaos, like maybe a chaotic love or a chaotic passion or interest or fixation for this month. We've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. That's interesting, because I think there's some sort of true side to you that's trapped within you, which I was kind of talking about, that I think you're letting out this month, because it's almost like you're trapping it and it's like being compressed down into this really tightly wound energy that's then going to explode. It's almost like this explosion in the top of the Tower has happened spontaneously almost, or happened from within, because it looks like the fire's almost coming from within that's creating all this smoke. So it could be you being more authentic in quite a big way, to the point that it's quite catastrophic or quite a chaotic, big, noticeable change that is seen about you instantly. Yeah, there's something about maybe even a true desire of yours that you've maybe not been honest with yourself or others about, that's coming out this month. Something you truly want that you've maybe not had the courage to kind of speak about before, or maybe you've just never acknowledged it yourself, and it's quite a big revelation for you. Maybe a true calling, a true passion, a true desire, but there's something that is finally kind of coming out and releasing this month. A true, like, pure version of yourself. This is why naivety didn't feel quite right. Maybe it's that it's a little bit of both, like, you're not in the know, but you also always did know somewhere deep down that this was a true desire or passion of yours. I think it has something to do with love, because when I pulled the King of Cups in reverse, I was kind of on my mind, I was wondering, what is this true passion? It could be something to do with love. that you've kind of not been honest with yourself about. Maybe who you're interested in particular, maybe you've not been honest about that. Or maybe even who you're no longer interested in, if some of you are in relationships and you're not vibing with it anymore, but maybe you've not had the honesty to say it. Or maybe like there's someone who people keep pushing you towards, but you know that's not the right person for you, and you're kind of being honest about that. Kind of like in Canto, where the sister is being set up with this guy that she is not interested in, but she feels like she has to like put up with it because it's what her family wants. Meanwhile, the other family member, the cousin, actually really likes this person and they are more better suited. So it's almost like in your honesty you would also be setting not only yourself free with the dove here, but others as well, because without that honesty it's just this tight ball of energy that's continuing to compress, and eventually it will explode. And I think the month for that explosion is now. Some sort of big revelation or honesty about your true desires or true love. Oh, this one really wanted to come out. Oh, the King of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm asking about your career, your romantic love life, your side hustles or hobbies, or you know, anything like that, and then your platonic kind of connections. And we have the King of Pentacles. So as I sort of said, you're doing really well this month. You kind of can afford to give yourself a little bit of a break this month and take some time away, some relaxation, some time for yourself. You're kind of on your throne at the minute, especially in terms of your career, your finances. So yeah, I think you know you're solid in that area. Even if at the moment you might not feel solid in that area, you will be feeling solid in October, because I think this video comes out just before October. We have the Nine of Cups in reverse for your love life. Yeah, I'm really strongly seeing that if something doesn't work for you or serve you anymore, you're relinquishing it and you're being honest about it. You're being honest about what you really want in love, which is really interesting. You may like that for some reason there's very much a lie you've almost been maintaining for some sort of reason. What is that reason? The Emperor. For stability. You've been maintaining a lie about something to do with romantic relationships, who you truly love, what you truly desire, to create a sense of stability for yourself, because it's very scary to put yourself out there and say what you truly feel or who you truly like, or to admit to someone that you have a crush on them or whatever it is. It can be very scary. And so you've almost maintained this lie for an illusion of stability, an illusion of being secure and being someone who isn't vulnerable emotionally, isn't, you know, at risk, isn't in danger of getting their heart broken, especially with the Fool here. But this month you're starting that new journey of allowing yourself the opportunity to experience everything life has to offer, including heartache, if that's on the cards. So you're being so much more emotionally open and vulnerable this month. Okay. Oh, Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. So I think while you're getting more free and chaotic in your life and more honest in general, I think that this also means that for your side hustles, your hobbies, you're being a little bit more risky with your pursuits, with the things you go after, with your muses, the things you're interested in, the things you want to try. You're being way more experimental this month. Ooh. 8 of Pentacles for your kind of platonic relationships. So friendships, family, things like that. I think you are in a really solid place with friends and family, actually. I think you invest quite a lot into those connections, and for that reason they're doing really well. You know, there's no sort of drama or tea there this month. Here we've got the Hound with loyalty, chains, promises. So I do think you've got very strong bonds with your friends and family. But as I said, maybe there is a sense of obligation to maintain a status quo that maybe you're feeling chained to. Like you would almost let down friends or family if you were honest about something to do with your love life. How you're feeling, who you truly desire, maybe something you've done, maybe something someone else has done that you know about. But there's a lot of loyalty, so there's a lot of, and love, so there's a lot on the table to lose for you, which can be really scary, to be honest, but I can see that it's building up to an inevitable point where you will be honest about this. I think there will be no more juggling with these two sides of yourself. You're finally stepping into your true authentic self. You're finally being honest. You're finally putting yourself first here. You're finally letting go of that need to have this outward look of stability or this outward approval, and you're turning inward for approval now. You're setting aside all these different things you were juggling in life, all these different responsibilities and priorities and stresses, and you're focusing on what brings you joy this month. So that was your reading pile 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my pile 3s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the storyteller with viewpoints and control. Love that. Okay, so these are your tarot cards. So we have the Chariot, we have the Queen of Swords, we have the Nine of Wands, we have the Moon, oh love that, okay, and we have the Five of Swords. Okay, interesting. There's a little bit of like a mystery this month. There's something you're not seeing that's kind of hidden in the shadows, because with the storyteller we've got these kind of hands conveying images or shadows on the wall that are distorting reality. This is what you see versus what's actually kind of going on, right? And then with the moon, we've got the very visual side of the moon, and then we've got the dark side that we don't see. But whatever this mystery is, it's getting revealed to you this month, because it's these two pillars here are kind of mimicking like an archway, so a transition that you're going to be passing through. So you're entering a new phase, you're following this path that you're spiritually protected on, because we've got the dog down here, but you're entering this new path in your life, and it's happening very quickly this month, very suddenly, and it's something very good. I will say that it is something like a wish of yours, or something you've been dreaming on, something you've wanted and you've been taking action towards up until this point, which is now kind of finally manifesting for you, finally coming in, which is really lovely. But I think the shadow element is that you don't really know how it's going to happen, what particular wish it is, until it happens, kind of thing. But I think there's a very slight downside to this, in that while you're really prepared for this journey, like really prepared, especially with the Queen of Swords there, like you are solidly sound of mind, you've got this, you know what you're bargaining for when it comes to this dream or wish of yours. I don't necessarily think you're prepared for the response of people around you. So it's like, you know, if like something good happens to you and immediately you want to go and share that news with people that you believe care about you and want to see you win, and then they kind of downplay it, or they're not that interested, or they're like, okay, or they're really offish or rude in some kind of way, and you're kind of like, okay, what's going on there? And it's stemming from a place of like jealousy. Also, while they might be happy for you, it's almost a sense of comparison, and then a feeling of inadequacy, because they haven't achieved or accomplished something as big as this that you're accomplishing this month. And so there's almost this secondary thing of like, while they might be happy for you, because their deep-rooted feelings of inadequacy are coming to the forefront more than their happiness for you, that's kind of overtaking. And so I think you might be a little bit shocked yet prepared for the response that you're gonna get for you accomplishing this big thing, for your success that's coming in this month. Like you're ready for it, in the sense that you're always aware that this could be a possibility whenever you succeed at something in life, but that doesn't mean it's any easier to deal with. So totally get that. But I do think you're ready. Like, both of these figures have a sword that they've got to hand. You know, instead of juggling these 3 swords, walking away quite shamefully, this person is standing ready, poised. They've got the 1 sword at the ready. Like, you will handle these situations really gracefully, really well, to the point that you actually might be able to repair these relationships and keep them if you want them, because you're so good at handling conflict and conflict resolution. Ooh, okay. So I think we had this one in pile 1. But we've got the Astronomer in reverse with Discovery and Augury. We also have the Poet with Relationships and Vulnerability in reverse. It's interesting because you had like the Storyteller and now you've got the Poet. Like, there are similarities here between like communication, speech. Maybe things are being told in a misleading way, maybe about you this month, maybe a lot of whispering, a lot of gossiping, but as I said, because you're handling things with poise and grace, you're able to resolve these situations really well, illuminate the truth, resolve people's kind of toxic feelings, I guess, or at least publicly resolve them. So for example, if they were kind of going around saying things about you, you could illuminate the truth and resolve those things so that there's no misunderstanding there. So I think you're handling things really well, and I think that's why with relationships and vulnerability being in reverse, these relationships aren't vulnerable because you're really good at conflict resolution and communication. So everything will still be stable for you. It's just a really like frustrating situation to deal with when you're trying to celebrate your wins. And yeah, so then we've also got the Astronomer and we've got the Priest with Perseverance and Faith here. Yeah, there's something about, because I keep seeing these like circles with like a golden hue, I guess. So here's the moon, and then I believe these are supposed to be suns over here because we've got 2 little moons there. And then we've got the moon here again. So there definitely is something about have trust, have faith that when the full truth is illuminated to you, when this waning or waxing crescent moon finally blossoms into a full moon, and you get all angles of the truth, and you see what dream is coming true for you, what's manifesting, what your path is. When you see how brilliant it is, you'll wish that you had been more, I suppose, self-assured, more confident. That way you could have enjoyed the actual journey more. So instead of being like, oh god, I hope I get there, will I get there, and kind of doubting and overthinking and second guessing yourself, if you actually slowed down and just enjoyed the moment this month and enjoyed the journey, when you finally get to the point where you're like, oh, my dream is here, it's manifested, it's come true, my wish has come true, it won't be something you regret or that you feel bad about or that you're kind of like, is this really my true dream because I didn't really have fun getting there, kind of thing. You know, you want it to be something where you're still really happy to have it at the end of the day. Also, I think with the Priest, it's speaking to your patience that you might need as well when it comes to dealing with conflicts this month. We have the Page of Wands in reverse. We have the Hermit in reverse. And we have the World card. Love that. Okay, yeah, so this cycle is completing for you. This ambition of yours that you've constantly been walking towards and trying to manifest is finally completing this month. You're finally getting the truth revealed to you. You're finally seeing all angles of this journey because the journey's coming to an end now. So with the Hermit, it's like you go into the darkness to learn, to figure things out, and then to be led out by this little light of illumination into the bright light again. And in reverse, this is saying you're ready to come out, like you're ready to come out of that darkness and see the truth and see things for what they are and see how this manifestation of yours has unfolded. And it's unfolded in this really successful way. There's a massive win for you happening this month that feels so glorious, so amazing. As I said, it can kind of shine a light on problem areas or things that you weren't maybe aware of when you were in the dark. So for example, when you're in the dark, you don't see these shadows. when you go into the light and you see these shadows, you can then deal with them. And these shadows are, you know, those kind of people around you who kind of didn't have your best interests at heart, or they did have your best interest, but they've just got their own shadows to deal with, of envy, of feelings of inadequacy. That's for them to deal with, but it highlights to you that there was a problem there, if that makes sense. It highlights this issue that maybe you weren't aware of. Okay, I will say, when it comes to your career this month and your money, it might feel like you've got a lot on your plate, like maybe you have a lot of financial obligations this month and that's maybe a bit of a stress for you, or it could be that you've got a lot on your plate at work and you're kind of struggling to set boundaries and stand up for yourself, even though you've definitely got the tools to do it because you do that all the time in your personal life. Maybe it's just harder for some reason at work to do that, but you're definitely you're juggling a lot. There's a lot on your plate. I think in terms of romantic relationships this month, I think you are analysing what it is you're lacking in that area, what it is you truly want, and recognising where you refuse to settle, what you really want, and walking away from what doesn't work for you anymore. So if there are some things you were compromising on or settling on that actually doesn't feel right for you anymore, doesn't feel like it fits, you're walking away from that. You're going to be getting a lot of ideas for like hobbies, especially as like side hustle sources of income this month. You're going to be thinking of lots of ways that you can kind of utilize the things around you and what you have to kind of build a bit of a side hustle, or even just forgetting side hustles, enjoying things, hobbies, creative pursuits, things you like to do in your spare time. Maybe there's a new sport that you've always really wanted to try, like, I don't know, rowing, and you're finally going to give yourself that chance to do it. You're indulging in loads of different things this month. And with your platonic relationships, your like friendships, family, things like that, you're kind of being urged to stay strong, and that essentially means you've got this side of you that's like poised and ready at all times, right? And this is the really level-headed, responsible side of yourself. We've also got our inner wild self, or our kind of like our natural wild undomesticated self, which is our immediate reaction to things, our feelings immediately on something, without thinking, without kind of analysing. The first feeling you get, so like if someone says something really rude to you and the first thing you feel is this flare of anger, but then you think about it and you go, oh, you know what, they might not have realised that that was rude, let me just let them know. That second reaction is your kind of intelligent, poised self who's ready to handle things really well. And that angry reaction is that inner wild animal within you. So you're being urged to kind of make sure you're yielding the right one at the right time. So if the situation calls for that inner wild animal, let it out, you know, be yourself. But if the situation is calling for you to be more poised, which I definitely think it is, and a little bit more restrained and graceful, then try to lead with that first. So yeah, might have a bit of difficulties with friends and families this month, especially if you're in your successful era. You know, while they can be happy for you, it's just their own problems, you know. So it's nothing to kind of take personally or take inwardly and kind of internalize. It is 100% an external thing. But yeah, just try and be strong in that area. And overall, I think while you're building a really solid, great future for yourself, there's no rest for the wicked, you know. I think you've got big plans, big dreams, big goals. And while this is a massive month of accomplishment and win for you, it's the first of many. And so I don't think you're going to be taking your foot off the pedal at all. I think you're going to keep steamrolling ahead. You'll get this win and then you'll be like, great, now what's the next one? And I think you'll move straight forward with that. So very busy, active month for you, doing lots of things very quickly, very fast. Things are moving and changing quickly for you in a very positive way. Truths are being revealed and tricky relationship dynamics are being handled well as well. So that was your reading pile 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye!